I get it, you're looking at those sleek, green-tinted binoculars and wondering if they're really worth the price tag, especially when the next thing you see on Amazon is a mountain of cheap alternatives. I've been there, scrolling through endless specs, trying to picture myself actually using them on a hike, at a baseball game, or just out in the backyard for birdwatching. The thing that keeps me up at night is the fear of spending a few $100s on something that sounds great on paper but ends up collecting dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through why the Swarovski EL 8.5x42 might be the right fit for you, and why for some people it could be a misstep. First off, this isn't a one-size-fits-all pair of optics. The 8.5x magnification and 42mm objective lenses put it squarely in the sweet spot for people who need a decent reach without the bulk of a spotting scope. That makes it a solid option for day trippers who want to get a closer look at wildlife without lugging a tripod, and for sports fans who need a little extra detail on the field but still want to stay light enough to move around the stadium. One of the biggest concerns people have is eye relief, especially if you wear glasses. The EL's 20mm eye relief is generous enough that most glasses wearers can get a full, clear view without having to pull the binoculars away from their face. I tried them on a friend who wears thick lenses, and he didn't have to crane his neck or keep adjusting the focus. That practical comfort translates into less fatigue during a 3-hour birding session, which is where a lot of cheaper models start to feel cramped. Now, let's talk about the Exit Pupil. At 4.9mm, the EL gives you a bright image even when the light is a bit low, like during dusk or in a dense forest canopy. In real life, that means you can actually spot a nighttime owl perched on a branch without straining, whereas many entry-level binoculars would leave you with a dim, washed-out picture. It's not a night vision device, but the combination of decent magnification and a larger exit pupil makes the image pop in those golden hour moments that many outdoor enthusiasts live for. The included field bag is more than just a tote, it's a practical way to protect the optics while you're on the move. The bag's padded interior keeps the binoculars safe from knocks, and the external loops make it easy to attach to a backpack or belt. I've taken them on a weekend hike up a ridge that was riddled with loose rocks, and the bag survived a tumble without a scratch. That kind of durability is something you don't think about until you actually drop the gear. However, there are trade-offs that are worth noting. The price point for Swarovski optics is premium, and the EL 8.5x42 sits at the higher end of the market. If you're a casual user who only needs binoculars for occasional backyard birdwatching or a once-in-a-while concert, you might be overpaying for features you'll never fully exploit. The 8.5x magnification is powerful, but it also narrows your field of view compared to a 7x pair, which can be a disadvantage when you're trying to track fast-moving subjects like a flock of geese. In practice, you'll find yourself having to pan a bit more to keep the subject in frame, which can be tiring if you're not used to it. Another practical limitation is the weight. At just under a kilogram, the EL is lighter than a typical 10x50 spotting scope, but it's still heftier than a compact 8x25 model. If you plan on carrying them for extended periods, especially on steep ascents, you'll feel the difference. I noticed a slight strain after a 3-hour ascent on a trail with a lot of elevation gain, even though the ergonomics are well designed. For mountain hikers who prioritize minimal load, a smaller, lower magnification pair could be a more comfortable choice. What about the image quality? Swarovski is renowned for sharp, color-accurate optics, and the EL lives up to that reputation. In daylight, the lenses deliver a crisp, high-contrast view that makes it easy to differentiate subtle feather patterns or the stitching on a baseball jersey. When I used them at a baseball game, the details on the players' uniforms were vivid enough that I could read the numbers from the third row. That level of clarity is where the value of the brand truly shines. You're not just buying a magnifier, you're buying an optical experience that feels almost like looking through a tiny window rather than a piece of glass. Who should definitely consider buying these? If you're an avid birdwatcher who spends weekends in varied habitats, a hunter who needs reliable, bright images at dawn and dusk, or a sports fan who enjoys being closer to the action without the hassle of a monocular, the EL 8.5x42 hits the mark. Its combination of eye relief, exit pupil size, and solid build quality makes it a